In this video, I'm going to talk about the property market as it was in the 1970s. So that's life on Mars for property. Life on Mars for property. So again, put on your cheesecloth shirt, put on your flares and grow your Mohican, because we're going to go back to the 1970s and look at what happened to private landlords back then. This is the third in a trilogy about life on Mars for tax. In the description below there are links to the other two videos. These are just my thoughts. So please, if you've got different thoughts or if you'd like to add to what I've said, then please comment below. I'd be really interested to know what you have to say. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, then you won't miss future videos. If you're a buy-to-let landlord, then it won't have passed your notice that the current regulatory regime for landlords has got tougher and tougher. So we've had all sorts of regulations, we've had increases in tax, one tax after another, stamp duty, disallowing interest, all sorts of things. Now, on that road, which feels like we're on a road to greater regulation and greater taxation, and I haven't seen the signpost that says that we're at the end of that road. Now, if we went back to the 70s and we had a socialist government, I think that the pace of change will be accelerated. And in this video, I'm going to describe how I could see some of those changes happening. In the spirit of life on Mars for property, one of the interesting things, or scary things, is that interest rates peaked at 17%. Now, I'm not suggesting that they're going to go up to 17%, but increases in interest rates do affect buy-to-let landlords, and if they were even normalised at 4 or 5%, I think we should be prepared for that under any government. One of the things that's happened under a Conservative government is that interest on your buy-to-let portfolio has been restricted to just basic rate tax. Now, I could easily construct an argument to say that if you're being charged interest on your buy-to-let, that means that you're borrowing money, which means you're speculating in the buy-to-let market. You're speculating on people's homes. And it's a very short step, if you go down that argument, to say that no interest should be allowable for taxation. And I would suggest that that's a definite possibility, although I haven't seen any proposals for that. I think it can almost be taken as given that there will be greater rights for tenants. I mean, those don't directly affect taxation, but what happened in the 70s was that there were rent controls. So rent controls means that you're restricted to how much rent you can charge on your buy-to-let portfolio. And what that meant in the 1970s was that the capital value of buy-to-lets was decimated. It's very easy to see how rent controls could be justified, because rent just takes a huge percentage of so many people's income, particularly young people. And you can see how that could be an attractive policy. But rent controls mean that if interest costs go up, then you can't be cross-subsidised by charging the tenants more. And it also means that shortages in the property market, which there definitely are, cannot come through as increased prices of rent. So what can you do to protect yourself against life on Mars for property? I think the main thing is to make sure that you don't have too much debt, because it's debt that can cause the problem. Because if you've got too much borrowing, then any reduction in the capital values of your property can disproportionately affect you, and they can also make you much more difficult for you to service your debts. The property market is still strong, particularly at the lower end, and particularly if you're not in London, and making sure that you can put your house in order now would be my advice. If you've got any thoughts on what I've got to say, then I'll be really interested to read your comments, and thank you for watching.